All right. Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachak Wadash, and double honors unto the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to all Yoakim out there, who pushing his word with all truth and sincerity, and as well as to all you believers out there who believing on the gospel. And it's the brother Quara Abad from the GMS Houston camp. And real briefly, I want to go into another lesson, and Lord willing, it do be edifying. But what I want to speak about is a movie, which I'm sure y'all seen brothers touched on the movie. It was weeks ago. I seen, for example, the brother Shaw out there in Dallas. Pretty much to the point you got this new Netflix series out called Supercell. Now, in the movie, you have it to where these Israelites, now they're not known as Israelites in the movie, but we know so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, we are the Israelites of the Bible, right? Biblical Israelites. But nevertheless, in the movie, they had so-called black people to where they didn't know it, but they had spiritual power. Certain of them had spiritual power. And the thing was, you had, and man, it is a beautiful series that they put together. I'm ready to see season 2 if it come out. But nevertheless, the reason is that it reminds me of the walk that we going through. And I'm gonna finish the point about the movie and what I want to talk about. But it reminds me of the walk that we going through as the hopeful elect. And ultimately, we know that the Lord will endow certain members with spiritual power. You see? With spiritual power. Now, in saying that, going back to the movie, you had these characters to where, they was going about their life, passing each other on a daily, not knowing each other. But it came down to the point to where when the Spirit started dealing with them, they had to come together, just like us today. We ain't know each other. We probably passed each other, here and there before the truth, never even knew it. But the Spirit brought us together. And we know the closer it gets to the end, as all hell get, continue to break loose, more confusion come in the world, and we get closer to the end of the world, it's going to be a lot happening to where many of us will need protection. And it's many ways the Most High going to send protection, whether it's angels, divine intervention. But we know, according to the scriptures, he will send power down to certain brothers. Now, what I want to touch on as far as this lesson goes is that when you watch that movie Supercell, that when the people who had power did display their power, they wasn't just doing it just to stunt. Now at times in a movie they did it to show people they had it, but they wasn't just doing it whenever they wanted to, or for personal revenge or whatever it may have been. No, they wasn't using it for that purpose. But one thing I noticed, that when that power came to them, it was when they needed it the most. That's one thing I got from watching this movie. You see, that when the power, the spiritual power came to them, it was when they needed it the most, man. You see? Now, I watched this Supercell movie about a week ago, and I rewatched it yesterday. And as I was rewatching it yesterday, this would hit my spirit like, man, that's how it's going to be for us. That brothers going to get that power when we need it most. An example started coming to mind, right? When we at our lowest point, when we at our weakest, that's when the Lord going to show his power, man. And there's many examples like that in the scriptures. Look at our forefathers. You had Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, right? When they needed the Lord the most, when they was in the fire, guess what? That's when he came through. You had Daniel in the lion's den. You see? Who else? Oh, you got Moses. When Moses split the sea, people forget that, look, those Egyptians was right there. Right there running, horses, chariots. And the only thing behind us was water. And when I say us, I'm talking about the Israelites. The only thing behind the Israelites was water. They didn't have nowhere to run, back against the wall. You see? But what the Lord had happened, spiritual power, divine intervention to where Moses was able to split the sea and we ran through. Right. When we needed it most. Who else? Well, I'm just thinking of stuff that come to mind. Elisha and his servants. We know troops coming in, right? We know Esau got troops coming in, mercenary troops, foreign troops. Where you go to Elisha and his servant, I think it's 2 Kings, the 6th chapter. And I'm going to get into some precepts. I'm just kind of getting off thoughts, to build the foundation of the lesson. But another example that when we need the Lord help the most, that's when he come through. You had Elisha and his servant when the Syrian army surrounded him, wanted to put him to death. The servant was scared and said, what we gonna do? And what happened? The Lord opened up their eyes and they had a chariots. The skies was filled with chariots of angels, man. The angels was right there, right when they needed them the most. Another one coming to mind. This is the last one. We'll get into the scriptures. But Peter, remember when Peter was in jail in the book of Acts, the next day, Herod was going to kill Peter. So when Peter was at his lowest and have no help back against the wall, guess what the Most High did? When Peter needed the most help, the Most High sent the angel, got Peter out of jail, and therefore he wasn't put to death the next day. So going back to the point, watching this Supercell movie, those who had the superpowers, they just wasn't waking up willy-nilly, just using their power, just to stunt, put it on IG so everybody go watch them show their powers off, man. It was when they needed it the most, when their back was against the wall, no way out. That's when the Lord, well, I say the Lord, but that's when they was endowed with their power. So the same thing for us as it get closer to the end. The Lord gonna give brothers power once they need it the most. A brother might be in a concentration camp, might be in wherever it be. You see? Matter of fact, let me get this precept. And Salaki for the long intro. This shouldn't be a long lesson. But let me get this quick precept. This 2 Corinthians 12:9. Because the Lord pretty much said the same thing. That when we weak, that's when he going to show his power. Real quick. This is 2 Corinthians 12:9. It says, and he said unto me, my grace is sufficient for thee. For my strength, right? This is the Lord speaking. For my strength is made perfect in weakness. Let's read the NLT. 2 Corinthians 12:9. It's Apostle Paul speaking of him and Yahweh Shai having a conversation. When Paul was complaining about his thorn in the flesh. And Yahweh Shai pretty much told him, look, the grace that he showed him, that's all he need. That's all he need. And this is what the Lord going to tell him. Each time he said, my grace is all you need. Here it is. My power works best in weakness. Right. Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, they show their power in weakness when we need it. When we realize we ain't got strength, now we got to rely on them. And then that's when they come through and show their power, man. Show their strength. It says, my power works best in weakness. So now I am glad to boast about my weaknesses so that the power of Mashiach can work through me, man. So even with us, situations we may go through, times we may be low in the spirit, right? Don't, a car just passed. It got 441 on the license plate. Call Allah Yahbashim Shai. But when we go through things, take L's, it don't feel good going through that weakness, but more so, it's a comfort getting through it because us being in a low point and Yahweh Shai making a way for us that proves his power, that prove he dealing with us. When that way out is made for us, man. And in that weakness, it shows the power of the Lord, that we can trust him, that we can have confidence in him. Because he put us through these different experiences to get us out these situations. So how much more when times truly get hard? Right? But it says, so now I am glad to boast about my weakness so that the power of Mashiach can work through me. But let me get this real quick in Revelation 12. Because speaking of that power and going back to that movie Supercell, we know a time like never before was coming. You see, a time like never before was coming and we will need help, man. Real quick, Revelation 12:12. It says, therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them, and woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil, which is the so-called white man, Esau, Edom, it says, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he have but a short time. And that's the time period we in right now. The so-called white man is about to come down on the world with great wrath, because he know his time to rule the world is almost over. You see, it's almost over. And when you go to verse 17, it specifies who he want, because he coming after the world, but he want the Israelites in the world though. Because in verse 17 it says how he got a hate for the woman and those who keep the law of the Lord and got the testimony of Yahweh Shai. Let's read it. Let's read it. This Revelation 12:17. So he coming after the world, and I'm building a point. So he coming after the world, but as he come after the world, he specifically want those who serve the Lord, the elect. Revelation 12:17. And the dragon was wroth with the woman, that's Israel, and went to make war with the remnant of her seed. So he want the elect, because the elect is truly the only ones who can stop his kingdom by word of this truth. It says, which keep the commandments of the Most High and have the testimony of Yahweh Shai Mashiach. That's the ones he want. So therefore, seeing we are a part of the ones he want, and we ain't got no power in our hands, we ain't got no just guns and military. We do, but we can't see them. We can't just order our military when we want. They're in the heavens. So therefore, seeing Esau, when he come after the world, his main target is those who are part of the truth. What that mean for us? That mean we gonna need help. That mean we gonna need spiritual power. That mean we gonna need divine intervention. So therefore, we gonna have to be in times to where our back gonna be against the wall. It may seem like we ain't got no way out. It may seem like we about to die, but in those exact situations, expect the Lord to come through, man. Expect that spiritual power. You see? Expect the spiritual power. Let me get this real quick about those troops coming in. This second Ezra 16. And I'm going to get Isaiah 59 here in a few, because it says, when the enemy come in like a flood, when the enemy make his move, then the Lord going to lift up a standard. Going back to the movie Supercell, every time that they spiritual powers kicked in is when somebody was coming after them. Or when they have nowhere else to go and they back was against the wall and they had to react. That's how it's going to be for us, man. We probably going to get power when we least expect it, or however it's going to be. But the point is, expect it though. The Lord said he going to give us an expected end. So if you're going through this and you don't even consider miracles, then don't expect to receive them. This second Ezra 16, real quick, because as we just read, Esau coming down on the world with great wrath. And the ones he mainly want is the ones in his truth. Now, as we about to read, once he come down and try to get the ones in his truth, that's when the Most High going to say, that's when he going to make known who are his chosen. And how he going to make known who are his chosen? By way of giving them power, separating them from being judged like the rest of the world. And that's how it was on Supercell. When things was happening, you know, it was a movie, but you can clearly see who was being protected and who the Lord had a covering over, man. Because they had power to save themselves out of it. Real quick, this second Ezra, chapter 16 and verse 68. It says, for behold, the burning wrath of a great multitude is kindled over you. And that great multitude is what we talking about. Esau, Edom coming down with the troops. It says, and they shall take away certain of you and feed you, being idle with things offered unto idols. And they that consent unto them shall be had in derision and in reproach and trodden under foot. For there shall be in every place, now check this out, for there shall be in every place and in the next cities a great insurrection upon those that fear the Lord. So Esau coming after who? Those who are part of this truth, the Israelites, man. He want us, those who are tearing down his kingdom spiritually with truth. And it says, and they shall be like madmen, sparing none, talking about the troops, right? Those militaries. They shall be like madmen, sparing none, but still spoiling and destroying those that fear the Lord. For they shall waste and take away their goods and cast them out of their houses. So at this point, when the troops come in and start touching the elect, and you know the scripture says, touch not my anointed and do my prophets no harm. So once these troops come in and get too close to the elect, start touching the elect, what's going to happen? Just like back in Sodom and Gomorrah, when those rainbow flag supporters back then came too close to the angels and Lot and them started beating on their door, knocking on the door. What the Lord did, he sent divine interventions, had the angels blind them, man. So the same thing will happen in these times when Esau come through with them troops, right? Going in neighborhoods, kicking down doors. Some doors of Israelites in the hood, in the neighborhoods, the Lord gonna let Esau kill them. But some of them, the door they kick down, gonna happen to be a member of the elect. You see, gonna happen to be a member of the elect. You got Esau and his troops come up in there with the firing squad and start shooting. All of a sudden, before the bullets get to the brother, they just freeze in midair and just drop. You see? And just drop. Come on, man. Stuff like that. Stuff like that. But let's read it. Let's see what's going to happen once these troops or the enemy get a little too close to the Lord elect. Going back to the point, the power go come when we going to need it the most. The power go come when we going to need it the most, man. But it says, read this again, verse 72, 2nd Ezra 16 and verse 72. For they shall waste and take away their goods and cast them out of their houses. And then, so once they come in and touch the elect, it says, and then shall they be known who are my chosen. And how the Lord will make known who are his chosen? By way of protecting them. By way of sending down divine intervention, by way of either angel or spiritual power. A standard go be lifted. We're going to get that next. But when the enemy coming like a flood, the Lord going to lift up a standard, which going to give us an escape route, man. And that escape route could come through many different ways. When we talk about miracles, it ain't just one type of miracle. You see? We talking about brothers can go invisible, flying, strength, whatever it may be, man. Go watch that movie Supercell. I was hyped watching that because I'm getting excited right now. It reminded me of the possibilities of what could be, of the things that we about to experience in the now, man. It painted a beautiful picture. When the enemy coming like a flood and we ain't got nothing else to do, nowhere to run as the Lord's servants, now our Lord go come through for us, man. You see? But it says, for they shall waste and take away their goods and cast them out of their houses, and then shall they be known who are my chosen. And they shall be tried as gold in a fire. And hear, O ye my beloved, saith the Lord, behold, the days of trouble are at hand, but I will deliver you from the same. You see? And how he gonna deliver us, man? By way of showing his power in us. Real quick, this is Isaiah chapter 59 and verse 19. It says, so shall they fear the name of the Lord from the west, and his glory from the rising of the sun, when the enemy shall come in like a flood. So when Esau, Edom come in and these other nations make their move against the Lord's servants, just like in the movie Supercell, when the enemy came in, got too close to those servants, it says, when the enemy coming like a flood, the spirit of the Lord Yahweh, Bahashimi Hawashai, shall lift up a standard against him, man. That spiritual power, divine intervention. Ways going to be made for us to escape. Whether it be the Lord using elements as far as rain, fire, wind, animals. Like he said in Job, animals go be in league with us. Look, remember, our power control everything. I'm talking about to people. That's why Yahweh Shai said to Pilate, you can't kill me. You can't do nothing except it was given to you from above. Our power control animals. Why you think Leviathan ain't pop out and show niggas yet? Because the Most High been keeping them down. Why you think Daniel ain't get bit in the lion's den? who control the mouth of animals, man. Our power control the elements, fire, water, wind. The disciples was shocked that Yahushua was able to stop the wind. You see? Whatever it is, our power control it, man. So going into these times, we don't have nothing to fear. The Lord if it's in his story, whether he gonna give us power or make a way for some, an angel, however it's gonna be. The point is, divine intervention will happen. These things ain't just movies that we seeing. This is our reality. It's movies to people, but this is our reality. This is our expectation. When times get hard, we expecting to get power. Whether it's us or somebody else, somebody gonna get power from the nation of Israel. Believe it or not, right? But I just wanted to touch on that. Like I said, watching that movie Supercell, but it's going to come when we need it the most. When we at our weakest, that's when the Lord go come through. That's why I wanted to get that Corinthians earlier, that 2 Corinthians earlier. That the Lord said his power is made strong when we weak, and our weakness, man. So we going to need the Lord to come through the most when we at our wits end, man. But I'm going to end it right there, Lord willing. This lesson was edifying. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem Rachakwadash, and double honors unto the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to all you Akim out there who pushing this word with all truth and sincerity, and as well as all you believers out there who believe on the gospel. And that's another thing, man. Seeing we know we're going to get powers when we at our last, when we need it the most. So when we're in a situation, don't think you down and out. No, man. Look forward to the way out. Look forward to the release that the Lord got. For example, if you get thrown into a concentration camp, don't think you going into the concentration camp because you wicked. You was caught by the troops because you wicked. No. How you know the Lord ain't having you go to a concentration camp to wake up believers there, or a miracle go be shown there? You see? Remember, when we at our weakness, that's when it's going to happen. When we need it most. But they keep fighting, keep pushing Well most out of here. And with that, shalom.